The seeds of conflict take root on the northern Kosovo border. I asked what the EU and NATO should do. But first, let's take Euronews' view of the situation.
NATO's troops have increased their presence on Kosovo's northern border to quell deadly escalating violence. Kosovo has been trying to take control of its northern frontier crossings and enforce a ban on imports from Serbia, a move in retaliation for Belgrade's block on Pristina's exports. This man says Kosovo has no choice to take action because the world is doing nothing to help it, and the situation can't be allowed to continue on like this forever. Belgrade doesn't recognize Kosovo's independence declaration 3 years ago, and the 60,000 Serbs who live in northern Kosovo still consider Belgrade their capital. Political leaders on both sides have blamed each other for the rise in violence, which has already claimed the life of one Kosovan policeman yesterday. Hours later, armed Serbs attacked and burned down the Jarinje border post and fired at NATO peacekeepers. EU leaders have repeated their call for calm and warned that further violence will not be tolerated.
Well, why is it important? Well, I am no fan of the Serbs or the Albanians. The Serbs, together with the Black Hand, Serbian nationalists, together with the Russian Black Hand organisation, were the ones who killed Franz Ferdinand in the First World War and thus set off the First World War and the reasons for the Second World War, which killed millions and millions of people. Also, both peoples, being that the Serbs are Slavic and the Albanians are descendants of the Turkic peoples who ravaged the southeast of Europe right up to the gates of Vienna and were only stopped by the heroic Polish forces during who defeated the Ottoman forces at the Battle of Vienna, since the Austrian king ran away. Shows that there is deep historical reasons for the conflict between the Christian Serbs, Christian Orthodox Serbs, and the mostly Muslim Albanians. But the importance of it is the destabilising factor it has on European integration, and also the tension between widening and deepening the European Union. As you widen into the more unstable regions of the hinterland that between Europe proper, that being Western and Central Europe, and Western Asia, that being Russia and Turkey, there is more and more ethnic conflicts that can unravel the process. And these conflicts in the past have caused world wars. We've already seen what ultra-conservatives can do in Oslo to upset a peaceful, rational civilization such as Europe or Norway. But the situation in northern Kosovo is not rational and it is not civilised. As the report said on Euronews, a border guard has been killed. But the border guard was there because of a policy by the Albanians to impose by the Kosovan Albanians to impose their will on the Serbian northern enclave, which still sees Belgrade as its capital. What is the solution? Well, the whole problem started was with a trade war in recent times, where Kosovan flagged goods and Serbian flagged goods were not recognised. So those goods need to be relabelled with EU goods so that neither side knows whether Serbian or Albanian Kosovan goods are being transported across the border. We are talking about 270 million euros worth of imports into Kosovo from Serbia. It's not a massive amount, but it's no small amount either. Secondly, NATO has to win the hearts and mind, and the EU has to win the hearts and minds of the Kosovan Serbs. We need to make them a separate enclave, give them the right to secede from Kosovo and join Serbia. Or we let them have the right to have a secede from Kosovo, but form their own independent territory under the rule of the EU. This seems to me the most rational way to do things, because we can build chartered towns within those areas to bring in trade and proper rules about governing the different areas of the northern Kosovo enclave of Serbs, and we can break the possibility of continued ethnic conflict where NATO, which has been shot at, and the EU, which has been shot at politically by the northern Serbs, who are trying to mix it up so that there will be a wider conflict between Kosovo and Serbia proper, which will obviously then draw in Russia, as it did in the First World War, and then cause a diplomatic spat between the EU and Russia, which is of course a strategy of tension by the Kosovan Serbs, if they are actually, or am I giving them more brains than they're actually worthy of? But let's give them more brains than they're actually worthy of. There's clearly a problem. We won't win over the Albanians any more than we already have, because the Albanian Kosovans any more than we already have. We've already given them a state of their own. We've already seen that they have declared independence. We've already fought a war for them. We've already given them massive amounts of aid and economic incentives to eventually join the EU as a candidate country, and we've done similar things for the Serbs in terms of giving them economic aid and getting rid of the last of the war criminals from the Bosnian Herzegovina war and the war in Croatia. What we need to do thus is to win over the Serbs, because they are going to be the ones who will throw the hand grenade into the mixer, so to speak, and cause a big problem. I could have used another term to do with the fan, but I think you get what I'm talking about. What to do? Well, we could do the things that I've suggested that we do, but whether people will do that or not is not really here or there. Give your own opinions and make comments and any information you have about the situation. Thank you for listening.